I want to ask you a question. Who's coaching you? Who's asking you the tough questions? Who's telling you, man, you're the common denominator to all of your issues and challenges? Who's telling you, man, all day long you become the magnetic pulse that attracts to you both good and bad? I want to be your life coach. I want to be the one that cheers you on to the finish line. I want to be the one that you ask the tough questions. And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers, but that means that you have a partner, someone who believes in you, not the you see right now, but the you can't imagine, the you that you are to become, the you were destined to be. I always say we both need the positive and the negative. It's not enough to have the knowledge of the matter, but we must have the wisdom as well. For wisdom settles it. And that's what I want to offer you as you join me on the Coach's Corner. I want to offer you the wisdom of the matter. Maybe it might be relationships, talking about our campaigns for more, for life, the dark room for our subconscious, our spiritual journey. Whatever it is, I want to be there to encourage you, to build you, to challenge you, to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm qualified to do this. Why? Because I'm you.
Well, thank you so very much for joining us right here on the Coach's Corner. My name is Marcus Sled. Assuredly, I bring to the table my own personal and professional issues, but I also bring the wisdoms from the scars of life. Having traveled in this journey for a bit now, I want to encourage you, and hopefully I can and will earn the right to speak into your life. And today we want to talk about, just for a brief moment or two, counting your gains as losses to win. The old slogan says, we came into this world with nothing, and we will leave out with nothing. Now, another old saying from a church mother says, only what you do for Christ will last. Well, this particular thought gives a bit more perspective on some of those old sayings. Counting your gains as losses to win. Thank you so much for joining us from the various platforms where SIBN Radio airs. We want to say hello to all of our Twitter followers and Spreaker followers. Thank you so very much for those that are joining us on iTunes at SIBN Television and A&D Radio, and Shoutcast Radio listeners. Thank you so very much. Mr. Engineer, you did it this time. But today's thought, or the thought for today, that's what TFT stands for, thought for today, comes or hails from having been very careful to watch our gains. And then something happens. An accident, if you will, of any proportion. Take your pick, from the left, right, up, down, from the kids, from your wife, husband, mother, father, brother, sister, neighbor, stranger. An accident that causes your gains to be crippled, to be diminished in capacity. And you take great stress over it. And it seems the thing that you wanted 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 months ago, but you stopped thinking about it and you rested on that, and for many reasons. In a lake community, and purpose of the golf cart was to be able to move around this 100+ acre lake. And I remember the kids saying, oh, Dad, let me drive it, let me ride, let me. Well, I resisted for a while. Then finally I said, okay, let them drive. I'm sitting right there and show them how to take care of it and all that. Point of the matter is, what I thought I had asked them and trained them to do, what I thought I had trained them to do, and what I thought I'd asked them to do, they had not done. I came out one day and the tops to the battery post, which I have about 6 batteries, were off, and the batteries were charging. To my demise, I looked, and there was no water in the batteries. So I worked to put the golf cart in the back, chucked it up as a loss. That which I tried to share with my kids, which was a gain with the best intention, became a loss in the process. What do I win? Says the father. You ever felt like that? And then the things that you say in your mind and your heart that you need, but you don't have the money for. Have you noticed that you look around after you have rested regarding that intention and put no effort other than thought process toward that intention? No other effort other than perhaps images and looking around, but no other thought, no other effort other than your thought process toward an intention that you never really have the resources to accomplish, but yet you gain it by virtue of momentum, by virtue of association, by virtue of magnetic pulse ideology, by virtue of focus. I need some help right there. But the things that you intend to do purposely with multiple sides, a variety of effort, eventually seems to be the losses that you encounter. I needed a bookshelf for Studio B. For years I had looked. And when I say for years, I had looked for years for a particular bookshelf just that would hold books and more. And I was with a certain person that I was trying to support in an effort that they were putting forth. And incidentally, we were looking at some book shelving, and most of them were damaged somehow. And so finally, the person says, well, I want to buy this one for you. At the time, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't want to make the person feel bad. Oh, okay, that's fine. Got the bookcase to Studio B. Well, at first, I really didn't want it. I was like, whatever. I had that whatever mindset. Then I finally put it in my studio. And all of a sudden, some kind of excitement started brewing. I was like, what the heck? And I don't understand why I was fighting it. I was like, this is a gift, This is a gift, and I'm supposed to receive it, but I don't really want it, and I don't really care, whatever. So I put the bookcase in Studio B, and I went on and put my books on it. I put my, before you know it, I looked at the bookcase, and I just could not believe the quality, and I could not believe the versatility, and I could not believe the style of it, and I could not believe the uniqueness of it. And I was just, I saw it as a blessing, really. A blessing that I didn't even want to receive. and even had lights, lights inside of it with 2 drawers and about 6 shelves, and even an area for a tall vase. I just was blown. I was blown away because I didn't really put any more effort toward gaining what I had originally envisioned. And I had let this go a while back. And when I looked after it was installed, everything was on it, from the wine glasses to flower vase to the studio paraphernalia, if you will. I looked at it and I said, oh my God, this is what I wanted years ago. What the heck? And I recognized it right then as a blessing. I recognized it then as a blessing. I recognized it as a blessing. So it leads me to believe, though I'm not so completely on the thought, it leads me to ask the question, do we put too much effort behind the thoughts or the thought processes? Should we be resting more? I'm just saying. Is that initiation of thought process there to instigate a magnetic type experience or some type of recovery or something that enables us to become one? I am so serious about this question. I mean, in the past, I want to say 3 months, there has been unintentional blessings. There's unintentional movement, I want to say, that you consider as blessings, but unintentional movement towards the goal line without understanding the movement. I am so serious. I mean, there must be maturation of my own mind, and perhaps if you're going through the same thing, there's some kind of maturation that is on autopilot. And when we stop focusing on what I purchase and why it's not working, and when I'm going to renew my new phone to upgrade to what's the latest, I don't know. It's just that the intention of our efforts, separate from our thoughts, doesn't seem to be as honored as much as the intention of our thoughts. For those of you that want to lose weight, you might have experienced this. I mean, even though you're on a particular diet, you're not using it as religious as your girlfriend, but you feel inspired to do your crunches, or you feel inspired to, go walking, whatever it is. All of a sudden something has come over you, some involuntary power, some involuntary push, some comprehension beyond the intellect or something. And you've been able to, and then you went to put on your skirt or your pants or your suit or whatever, and lo and behold, you're not the same size. I was looking today as I was preparing to air today on a thought that I had created for myself. I'll read it to you. I call it the law of incidental consciousness. In other words, create an incident to prevent an accident. Create an incident to prevent an accident. And I think I heard that firefighters do this. They'll intentionally start a fire to block a fire. But sounds like I was snoring there, didn't it? Sorry about that. But the quote says, so many of us live life expecting either all direct interaction or all indirect interaction. But accept it or not, life is a game. We must know its parameters and play it well. And if you expect to win, this is from my quote, if you expect to win, try taking more control of you. Hence the thought, counting your gains as losses. My willingness to just let go. I am so serious. And you know, I told you on every show, when I come on, I tell you up front, you know, I got issues here. I'm yet in discovery here. Part of our lives is yet in search and rescue. Who am I? What am I here for? How do I accomplish my purpose? It's not enough to know your purpose. You got to know how to accomplish it. And one of the ways that I'm learning, you've got to let go of your gains. When I bought that golf cart, I had gotten a lump sum of money from an accident that I had. It seemed like everything that I bought from that settlement doesn't work. So, I mean, it wasn't my fault or anything. I still wrestle with the injury to this day, but it's just, you know, I'm just saying, it's just me talking. Everything, it seems, from that settlement. This life is serious, man. I promise you, the inner focus that we have better be integral. We got to be. If you have a problem with something or someone, you better be integral about it. I was talking to one of the producers. We were just joking around because in one of the studios there's no microwave anymore, and so I was telling them that, hey man, you know, there are times when you just want to have something sweet or whatever the case may be, and I was joking. I said, you know, maybe we ought to get an easy bake oven and put it in the studio, Studio B particularly. And so anyway, we had to take a trip somewhere, and we were a little early, so we stopped at one of my favorite stores. And you would not believe. I am so serious. There were two. Not that I would have done it. There were two easy bake ovens on the shelf. And I said to the producer, I said, listen, do you remember that conversation we just had this morning? Wow. I think that if we count the losses as gains, there'll be gains again. But if we count the gains as gains, there'll be losses again. And within the confines of our minds, we have to create an incident regarding the gains to help us deal with the accident regarding the losses. I need some help right there. Create an incident regarding the efforts that you have put into to gain X, Y, and Z. For instance, with this network, I've been asking you guys to be in touch. Well, I'm done asking. I'll give the information. I'll give, where the Twitter is. I'll give you the websites. Well, I'm done. Because, obviously I'm more ambitious than I need to be. Obviously, you don't want, many of you, more in the States than internationally. You don't want to be in contact. You don't want to have an exchange. You just want to listen and go on your way. No problem. In other words, minimize the efforts regarding the intention for the outcome desired, and maximize the thought process regarding the magnification or the magnitude. That's not the word I want. Or the magnetic pulse that you want to create. Minimize the effort regarding the outcome you desire, and maximize the rest in the thought process as you create a magnetic pulse regarding the outcome desired. Did that make sense? There's something that we're learning here regarding the pursuit of a mission, the actionary, the pursuit, the response to getting our mission accomplished is one thing, but the rest in our thought process, the actual creating an incident. In other words, I know I have the ability, for example, to go and fix my golf cart many times over. It's been sitting for a few years now, but it's not a priority. Need some help right there. But then it never leaves my thoughts. It never leaves my thoughts, because within my thought process, it is plausible and even possible for me to fork over $600+, going to be plus dollars now because it's been sitting for a while, $600+ for the golf cart to be serviced and repaired and fixed. In my mind's eye, as old folks used to say, it is a done deal without me even lifting one finger to do it. In my mind's eye. And I think that is the lesson that we have to understand today. Count your gains as losses in advance for the winner that you need to be today, tomorrow. Be a little slow in responding with your efforts, but maintain momentum in your thought processes. Or perhaps be more part of our pretentious lifestyle is that we want to show others, whether we want to admit it or not, is not the question right now. The fact that we show others that we can match, or we can answer, or we can respond to a calamity or to a catastrophe or to a problem, to an issue. Created not necessarily by us, but created by someone close to us or around us. We can respond and we can get things done. But I'm not so sure that is always the wisest way. I think that we have to learn how to digest losses, because the losses are not as lost as it seems. They are wins. But they're not wins the way we're taught that they're wins. It is often said of a proverb that is in the Bible that says, if you want to save your life, lose it. Not lose it foolishly, through promiscuity, through foolishness, through criminality, but lose it in the sense of service. Not in the service of doing everything for everybody just because. No, in the service, in the interest of others. Lose the life. And if you want to gain your life, lose it. If you want to save your life, lose it. But he that saves his life, he's putting forth the effort, he's putting forth the effort, the action to save his life. He loses it. This is a paradox. This is a paradox. I was thinking about preachers the other day, and I said to myself, you know what the problem that I personally have with church is that we stand in the pulpit telling others what they should and shouldn't do, or what they should and shouldn't believe, or what God will or won't do, and on and on. When in all reality, if you stand there, you should be using yourself. This is how God dealt with me. This is how God grew me. This is how God matured me. This is how this blessed me. This is how this touched me. I pray that this way by which I was touched, helped, pushed, encouraged, matured, would be an example or an ensample for you. Maybe we just need to change the style of how we present messages. Because you sit in these congregations and you hear this. Oh, I don't feel like going and getting one of those intellectual words for it, because it's just it's not impressive anymore. Because the best of the best sit there and hear what is considered to be the best of the best in kingdom messaging and come out acting like just as crazy of a fool as a person that don't even know what they're talking about. Why? Because there has not been integrity in the thought process. There's just been action because one could. Are you acting because you can and leaving out the integrity of thought process regarding the final activity or the final mission or the final goal that you aspire to achieve? That bookcase I had been desiring for years. I do mean you're probably 6 years running for real. And all of a sudden, and let me tell you something, the bookcase cost $53. Cherry wine wood through and through. 2 lights. I believe it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shelvings. It was missing some glass and some other stuff, you know. But the drawers everything was intact. 53. As I'm sitting here describing it, I'm just baffled, because I had rested regarding that. I had accepted that I'm not going to find it through my efforts, so I'm going to find it through my thoughts. And I'm not going to necessarily sit down about it and think about it every day, but it never left the confines of my meditation. I always thought one day I'd have a great bookcase. One day. I've always thought one day I'm going to fix that golf cart. I have had the money to go and fix it, but I have not moved. I felt something push me right there. I have not moved to fix the golf cart on purpose. I have simply enjoyed the meditation that it will be fixed. There's something that we're learning here. And I wonder, when we hear the proverb, the principle, faith without works is dead, I'm wondering now, what works is he talking about? I do remember studying in the Greek that that word works had a connotation that the action that followed that which one says he or she believes must not just be an action to confirm that you believe, but it, which impresses others, but it must be an action that is the right corresponding action. It is actually the next fitting step for faith. I'm just saying, counting our gains as losses is really setting up ourselves to win. It's hard to comprehend. It's like the old principle that says God chose the wise thing, the dumb things of this world, to give us wisdom. That's all I can say on that. Follow me if you can. It's up to you. Take care of yourself.